This guy is recording this triangular object in the sky. At some point, the object flashed three lights. The weird deal is the way the lights appear around the object. They're not on the object itself. They're a little bit farther out of the structure. Look at that, right there. That's a triangular deal right here. This light, then another one right here, and in each corner of the triangle. But look at the things next to it. These are structures. These are not clouds. These are not clouds. Your typical whatever. These are geometrical. Purposely, it's probably the structure that I've been talking about. The way the structure is in the sky. What? Look at this right here. I mean, look at that. It only appears when that thing flashes those three lights. It's insane. Check it out. I lowered the backlight of the screen to be able to show these structures. And then you can see that it's that shape I've been telling you forever. Is the entire, what we call the sky, is this thing, this geometry. And this deal, I don't know what that is or came from or whatever, but look what it does. Check this out. The guy went outside to smoke a cigarette and he felt a presence. Something compelled him to look up and record. And that's what that was. So they were tapping into his brain waves, whoever that is. And that's most of the cases that I have read about and listened to interviews. Is usually the case. The Romanek deal is like that. The guy was just compelled to go outside. Dan Aykroyd, the actor, say the same thing. At 3 in the morning, he woke up and something told him you have to go outside. And when he went outside, the entire neighborhood was outside too. All these neighbors, and they were like, none of them knew why they were outside. Look what this deal is gonna do. That's what I like to use the camera because, and the screen setting, because then you can enhance or decrease certain features that mask, like the over brightness or the backlight. See, that's a triangular deal. Now look what it's gonna do. It's gonna flash three lights, but not on the graphic or whatever that is. A triangle deal is right outside of it, around the corner, each corner. I've seen that before in a saucer shape one. You can see the light emanating from, blinking from somewhere behind the craft or around it. I don't know how that is done, but it is, I mean, it's just not your typical deal that you no. There it is. That's the original footage. Now look what it's gonna do. See the flashes, pa pa pa. The first, the one, and then the triangle is turning. Let me replay that, but with an enlarged screen. There's the object right there. See, it's turning. Already see how it flashes, and then it gets into that structure that look like clouds, but they're not. That's a structure. We just cannot grasp our head around that. See, look what it does. See how it flashes the light, one here, and then one here. But no, the crash itself is farther out. And when I don't know if that is even a craft or maybe just a trick. Well, look at the structures. I mean, you cannot see any better the structures that I'm talking about. And I have shown this in other videos, but wow, this one is pretty good. Look at that, all the same geometry. It's done in such a way that it's difficult to discern what the shape really is. I can tell you what it is after so long studying this geometry. It's a hand holding something. See the fingers, but it's so complex because it's overlapped, and I mean and one is part of another, that is part of another, that is on top of another, and it's just difficult to. I can do a drawing, a quick drawing, just to show. See, look. You can see the knuckles. All these deals like that, those are the knuckles of that damn hand. And then you see that. But this is part of another one that is like that, and I mean, it becomes so complex that I wouldn't even attempt to do the whole. It's difficult, man, to even consider that something that like that and that simple could be that complex too. But if you enlarge the image enough, you can see the outlines of the fingernails. See, look. See all these, the designs here, all these outlines, those are no cloud, man. I'm telling you that people just don't observe, man. They just, I know there was a structure, but I didn't know what the shape of the basic shape is that of a hand. And it turns so complex because, like I say, overlap and it repeats over and over on top, on the sides, in front, behind. We're swimming in that, in this geometry. Every single cloud, nebula, I mean, everything has that shape built into it. So it's got to be like we call matrix, or something like this right here. Look, when I put my hand on it, you see why I know that that is the shape. Look, it's like this. See how the finger with the knuckles, then you see the thumb right here, like this. Sometimes it's like this, close. Sometimes it's the finger, sometimes it's like that. Most of the time it's this way. Bam, 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 and it goes all diagonal, it goes, I mean, that's why it's so difficult to, it took me years to finally crack the shape. Because in some places on the moon, you can see around the rim of the so-called craters. There are no craters, those are molten holes, molten sculpted holes, not even holes, sculpted things with that shape around it. And then you see that it becomes bigger, and that is part of an enormous, the whole hand deal is a fingernail for a huge ass finger. And it's surrounded by a small hand grabbing it, and that's part of it. It's impossible to do the drawings of what you're looking at right there. It's just that impossible because it's three-dimensional. You can see all these tubey things, and they're all the same thing. It's all the same thing. So I don't know if this is really any craft or it's an illusory thing. I don't know. That's why would there be? Look what it does. See how it vibrates, the whole thing. See how it changed here. It keeps changing and changing, but because it's three-dimensional, it vibrates and it's like a fluid deal. It's very fluid. Look at this thing right here. That. It's the same geometry, but it just, like I say, you overlap each other, and it's difficult to explain this shit, man. And you see another, I mean, it's difficult. All I can tell you that the shape of that, those things, you see how they vibrate? See, now you see a tube, but it's really another small, the thing I'm talking about, the hand. See how this tubey, it's so insane to explain this. You're looking at it and you cannot believe it. You say, what? No, but because it's vibrating, you don't see it. It's only when you freeze the video. Now look what it does. Look what it turned into. All these 5 tubes, well, they're not really that. It's the same geometry, just overlap and it changes, but it's always changing to the same thing in a different position. Look at that.